All right, any questions out there? One in the back. I'm coming to you.
Thank you, Charlie. Ray Fassett. First of all, I want to really compliment all of you on your cooperative approach, leading organizations, the largest organizations, working with state officials to bring the National Labor Exchange to market. More specifically, my question is, one of the biggest benefactors of what you're doing are small businesses. Small businesses are finding their jobs being put into the database, being pushed out in front of job seekers, also into other .job sites outside of US.jobs, but localized sites such as Cleveland.jobs or Chicago.jobs and others that DE is building each and every day. Do you find it challenging getting the word out? It's almost the best kept secret out there. Is it challenging to get the word out to your small employers to let them know that this service is being provided to them as a result of this cooperative approach by the states and by leading employers?
I'll take a first stab at that. In Arizona, we have business service teams that consist of talented, passionate individuals that do outreach to employers. Part of that team also includes our LVRs, our local veterans reps, and they every single day are out there pounding the pavement, looking for employers, and outreaching to let the employers know of our services at no cost, and then soliciting whether or not what we could do to help them in filling their needs, whether it's an internship, whether it might be a volunteer, or whether they're ready to expand their business and try putting an employee on. So I don't think for us I think that we've been very effective in doing the outreach to smaller employers, the mom and pop shops, because I have a lot of rural areas and we had higher unemployment rates in those areas, but we're definitely making a difference.
I would just like to say ditto to what Peggy said. We have that team of business service specialists throughout the state as well. They spread the word, they make appointments with employers. They'll demonstrate for an employer how to actually fill out the index form very successfully and monitor the results for them. We also do some outreach and marketing with our brochure materials, and we have our workforce center managers who help those employers with additional services, but it's all tied in with the US.jobs. On this report of 873 employers that index with US.jobs from Minnesota, I looked at the complete listing just a couple of weeks ago. It was amazing. I first thought it would only apply to employers like the large IBM or Wells Fargo. However, at the end, they were ranked in order of how many jobs they currently had posted. And at the end, there were like 3 pages of employers that only had 3, 2, or 1 jobs currently. So we're definitely reaching that small-time employer who cannot afford expensive advertising for jobs and needs the great exposure that you've talked about.
I just want to comment on that too. From NASWA's perspective, where we would like to position our members is that they're the conduit through the National Labor Exchange to help small and medium-sized employers get their .jobs presence for their jobs. So we would like to help position them to be that conduit for that great service. And serve that population, those types of employers in the United States.
I handle the compliance side at my organization, and it's a very large national organization. So I have a question. I kind of have a several-part question. So first of all, with all of the requirements for outreach, a lot of our local HR business partners are reaching out to their various, leavers and DevOps and various people like that, vocational rehab and those sorts of folks. But with the linkage agreements that will be coming up, they'll need to reach out with you folks as well and maybe have linkages and that sort of thing. What is your recommendation? Would it be better to have the person that handles the compliance, like me, reach out to several states, or would it be better to have individual business partners who might handle several states reach out? And whatever you decide on that, or whatever your recommendations are on that, do you have the bandwidth to handle a lot of employers contacting you? I know you said that you have a pretty large staff, but I think some states don't. So do you have the bandwidth to handle a lot of employers calling to build those relationships? And right now, I guess this is the last question, what I recommend is to use the direct compliance reports and to reach out to the person on who's receiving those emails, because the OFCCP has called those exact people, and fortunately we built relationships with them to start. But so who wants to start?
I'm looking down the line.
Well, I can say for Arizona, I think we do have a point of contact for the OFCCP compliance issues, and that would be the point of contact, I think, for the employers. We have a large business service team that can assist us. They're spread throughout the state, as are my LVRs and my DVOPs. But that point of contact, that central point of contact would guarantee that the timely signing of those linkage agreements and the response time, I think, would be the better approach to handle those requests.
In our comments to OFCCP, states objected to having the LVRs being the folks that actually signed those agreements. My members, when surveyed, indicated that they would be interested in signing enterprise level agreements and not at the LVR level.
And Peggy referred to that Arizona has an OFCCP contact who handles calls into the state when they're in an audit situation, say with your organization. NASWA worked hard on getting that list of what we call state OFCCP contacts at the state workforce agencies. And we just trained them in September following the training session with the National OFCCP office, where we did a webinar on August 9th, and we trained 225 of their compliance officers so that they would know more about the National Labor Exchange and the partnership network. And we told them that NASWA has this list state by state of OFCCP contacts, and rather than the OFCCP themselves contacting the LVRs and the DVOPs to verify mandatory job listings, we're training them to contact the state management person that Peggy referred to, so that we can monitor that better. The other really cool thing is, you know, your compliance reports, the Vet Central compliance reports, the states now have access to their own reports coming out of that same database. Looks exactly like your company compliance report, only it has their branding on it. And so when they get that call from the OFCCP asking about, well, did IBM really post their jobs in Arizona like they said they did? Can you prove it on your end? Did you receive those postings? Well, then the state contact in Arizona can query that report. It comes out of the exact same database that Ray pulls his report out of, and that's going to match, and it's going to make the audit much more reliable and efficient. So.
One more interesting point about that conversation with OFCCP was that in addition to, you know, you must show them your Vet Central report, was that they were very interested in finding out about your direct traffic. They wanted to see that information, not just present them with a list of this is where my jobs were being posted, but actually seeing, you know, where's your traffic coming from and what does it look like.
So do use the direct traffic to supplement your audit response. You know, you definitely want to, you know, include your compliance report in your audit response, but supplement that with your direct traffic. If you're just, as Pam said, if you're just giving them the job alliances list, they're going to push back and say, well, prove that you really post your jobs in all these thousands of sites. We want to see proof. We explain to them that because there's so many thousands of sites, it's impossible for an employer to go in and get screenshots from all these thousands of sites when it's a daily process and jobs come and go constantly and the volumes that you're dealing with. And we told them about the direct traffic, and they really lit up over that. They liked that. And so do use your direct traffic. How many of you are using direct traffic right now? If you want to learn more about it, contact your DE representative, and really I encourage you to learn that. It's got powerful data that's not only going to help you with compliance, but it's going to help you understand your, you know, where your recruiting is most effective, which sites are driving the most traffic. And that can help you with linkage agreements if that ends up passing, because you'll see your top websites. Those would be great sites to pick up the phone and extend that relationship in a more formal partnership.
I'm curious to know, do you ever, I guess at a state level, do you partner up with employers to do any type of career fairs? Is that ever done?
Oh yeah, all the time. and we've started to do more of that. We've actually we're trying, at a local level, there's a big push in Texas to get away from the standard job fair and go to more of career fairs, to hiring events where there's the matching and stuff is done up front, and bringing employers in and giving them choice of people to, choice of job seekers to go through, because it's much more, we found it to be much more timely. We've been doing that. We got an Eagle Ford Shale. It's an oil gas play in South Texas that's blowing up. And one of the things we struggled with those employers, I mean, these are Halliburton and, Schlumberger and folks that, I mean, they got money, man. They don't need us, right? They don't. And so but we want to be involved in that. It's a big effort with the state. There's a role for workforce there. We really struggled to figure out what that was. What we found it to be is career fairs, is those type of hiring events. And to the extent that we can make it more efficient for the employer, so they're not coming in and spending 6 hours trying to go through people and meet and then go back and then parcel those applications. If we can do a lot of that up front, but still hold those things where they come in and it's much more making offers or scheduling interviews at that point. It's been a lot more effective for employers. We do tons of it.
What part of Texas are you from?
I'm in Austin.
Okay, well, we need to get together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely,
We could,
And I think one of the things that our agencies offer for the employer, probably one of the most important things that I hear from our employers, is that we'll do that job matching. We get the information from you, we get the job listing, we'll do the screening and weeding out of those that may not be qualified, and then set up that in-office recruitment for the employer with appointments, and have all the make sure that they have their documents that they may need to show the employer that they're requiring when they come. So it saves time for the employer as well.